Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Saturday night live stream. This is somewhat unplanned, somewhat just a fun way for me to spend an hour or so on my Saturday evening on a day I had to work. So I just want to unwind. I'm going to do a couple of Linux distro installs and probably in parallel, one on each Proxmox server. And while we're waiting for the install processes to do their thing, I'm going to play through Vampire Survivors a little bit and hopefully keep this light and loose. And I will check in on chat from time to time, but that's kind of what I've got planned for tonight. So let's head over to the computer and we're currently downloading. We just finished downloading Nobara 37. We've also got Linux Lite and Kali Linux 23.1. I'm going to come over here to server 1 and we're going to upload an ISO image. And that's on my external drive. So we'll put Linux Lite up here. And Nobara we'll put up here. Where did Kali go? Kali's in downloads. We'll move that over here. And then we'll move that again to ISO March 23. Okay. So we've got Nobara uploading to server 1 and on server 2 we will grab Kali just for fun. Hey, look at that. We've got Joe. Light and Loose is my middle name. And Ashley, welcome. We just ordered pizza. Good timing to be our entertainment. All right, well, I aim to please, I suppose. So while we're waiting, I'm going to get in a little gaming. The nice thing about this particular game is it's fairly light on resources, and it has bonus cut scenes, I guess you'd call them. I don't know. So once I get to one of those areas where I level up, I can switch over to Proxmox and we can continue the fun there. So I'm going to get this party started. You will not have audio for this, I don't believe. Which maybe that's something I'll think about working on. A way to do that. But we'll try to keep this as entertaining as possible and give people a little bit of an idea of what I like to do as far as gaming every now and again, and keep the Linux installs happening because that's always kind of fun. So let's, in fact, jump over. So we've got our task complete here and task OK there. All right, so we're going to create a new VM. We're going to call it Nobara. Come on, there we go. Nobara 37. QEMU agent. We'll give that 55 gigs just to be safe, because I think this is a little bit bigger. And we'll give it 8 cores and 8 gigs of RAM. And that should be there. And then we'll come over here and we'll create a new VM. And we'll try to do these sort of in parallel and go do a little more gaming and come back and see where we're at. And hopefully have a little fun in the process. Start after created. Joe, the name of the game is Vampire Survivors. It's on Steam. I don't think it's terribly expensive, but it's a fun little game. Got all kinds of crazy things that you're killing. And you just keep leveling up, and you don't even have to worry about hitting a trigger button or anything. It's just moving your dude around and trying to stay alive and collecting power-ups. So get to the next power up, and then we'll jump back over to our install processes and keep things moving. But hey, I thought, I've been making some serious videos and might as well make something fun and do a fun live stream. And this is what popped in my head this afternoon after I got home from work. So, all right. So for Kali, I've been thinking about getting a used laptop like your Lenovo for Kali. Yeah, so that's actually one of the uses I had in mind when I bought that. No, you don't need an RTX 4090 for this game. I'm playing it on my M1 Mac Mini. I have to work one Saturday a month from Labor Day until Memorial Day. So I think I've got one more Saturday left. And that's it for the summer. Or maybe it's two left. So yeah, with all the cloning software that I keep using on the channel, RescueZilla, CloneZilla, Fog, I figured that I could do a backup of my Pop! OS install, do a Kali install on it, or Black Buntu, or one of the other handful of security related distributions, but likely Kali, at least in the short term. And then I can back that up, and so I can just use it when it's needed, and when it's not, then I will go back to Pop! OS, or try something else out on the laptop, whatever makes me happy at a given moment. No, I don't know why that's checked by default. Okay. Okay, that's installing. Callie is working on it. And all right, we'll go back and we'll play a little bit more. Power up the cross. So I admitted to myself years ago that I don't really have time for really deep games anymore, especially not with trying to build a YouTube channel. But this is one of those types of games. Usually the stages, it's a 30-minute maximum run, and I can run a round of this while I'm waiting for an install or waiting for updates, or if I just get frustrated with something, I've at least got some way of entertaining myself and clearing my mind a little bit while I get ready to do the next thing. So, but fun little game. It doesn't require a lot of thinking. Doesn't suck a lot of time. And I could look at some of the walkthroughs for the game, but like I said, I'm trying to keep this casual, and once you start going deep enough to read walkthroughs and just not just explore on your own, it kind of loses a little bit. So, all right, so we're at the next power up. And Callie is asking us, we're going to use XFCE just because it's lightweight, and in a VM it makes a lot of sense. So that's good. Nobara appears to still be copying. So we've got time for some more gaming. Hey Zach, welcome to the party. Look deeper into Flipper Zero. I am for sure buying one. Definitely keep me posted on that. I'm really on the fence. I'm trying not to spend money right now, but I've seen the Flipper Zero, and then I saw the NetTool Lite with the USB Type-C charging. And I seem to have misplaced my NetTool anyways, so it seems like almost an excuse to buy. But Like I said, trying not to spend money. Um, just want to get some bills paid down a bit, and maybe closer to summer, I'll make a couple purchases. Still want to get a couple more discs for my Synology, and the 10 gig card, and the solid state cache discs as well. And so that's going to be a pretty good size investment, but it's going to give me a lot of storage space to use over the next few years for different projects, things that I think will be of some interest to the audience here. And yeah, I mean, I guess there could be worse things that I could be spending my money on than, computer stuff. I'm not doing anything illegal, so there's that. Let's see. We just had to upgrade Ashley's laptop since she is editing video and Photoshop, and her Intel Mac was chugging. Well, that's cool. Probably you got one of those new M2 MacBook Pros that are all sweet and sexy looking. Yeah, I saw your i9 build. That was a fun, albeit late, live stream. uh, at least these are business write-offs. Yeah. As much as I try to treat my YouTube channel as a business, I think there are definitely limitations to what I can realistically think about writing off. So all right, do this. Total annihilation time. Those ghosts and the skeleton guys are just no match. Fire! Fire! Oh, burning the trees down. Burning the trees. And the power up, they actually call those floor chickens. They're your power up meal, whatever you want to call it. It's a floor chicken. It's like a rotisserie chicken that you find randomly on the floor. Let's see. M2 Pro MacBook Pro got it for $150 off at Micro Center. Nice. Ashley is doing the business full time. Has a large customer that keeps her busy. So I have to make sure she can work, so it's a legit business expense at least, right? Floor chickens, yes. Floor chickens. Okay, Callie is still doing its thing. Nobara appears to be done. So we are going to power that off. Remove the ISO image. Okay. See what this is doing. can start that back up. Okay. So, for those unfamiliar, Nobara is a new sort of hobby distribution. It's based on Fedora 37 with some customizations. They've got a version that is aimed at gamers, which has some kernel tweaks and some other things, but they've done a little bit of their own customizing on their layout. So you've got your more traditional taskbar down here at the bottom. Due to U.S. patent laws, we're not able to include some important video playback. Would you like to install? Yes. So we've got a typical first step welcome center. Blah, blah, blah. Recommended additions. Blender, Keynote Live, OBS, and Discord. Which would be great if we were on actual hardware. There's Proton, there's Xbox controller drivers, some customization stuff. You can choose the login manager. You can choose a desktop theme and some extensions. Join the community. Donate to the project. We'll let that go right now. Since that's doing some updates, we'll check on Kali. And that's still got a little ways to go, so we can game some more. Because, hey, it's Saturday night. And, I don't feel like fighting, so even if it's all right for fighting, I will restrain myself and only fight within the constraints of the game. Let's see. Let's go Spellbinder. You gotta love the Medusa heads that are... Oh, floor chicken. The Medusa heads that are coming after you. So maybe we should turn this into a drinking game, and every time I say floor chicken, you have to chug. That seems like as good a Saturday night game as any. Hugo is joined. Welcome, Hugo. And TVJ. Didn't know you were live, but I was just telling Joe and Tony that I was almost done rebuilding my virtual machines to Debian. Very nice. So we are gaming tonight and installing, installing Nobara Linux and Kali 2023.1. So let's see, what do we got? Healing is doubled or +3 revivals. Let's do healing doubled. I'll get to this other bonus stage that's waiting for me somewhere over here. And then we'll check on our virtual machines. Kali is still doing its thing. And it looks like Nobara is done with its little install. So this is running GNOME. Has a more traditional layout on this particular distribution. Settings is right in the taskbar, which is kind of nice. So Nobara, it's running Wayland, so probably not going to give the best performance in a VM, but Wayland is the way forward, so they keep telling me. So we've got G overlay for Vulkan and OpenGL overlays. Lutris, Proton Up Qt installs Wine and Proton based compatibility tools, and Steam is pre-installed. So bonus there. I don't think it'd run too well on this VM though. Graphics, Inkscape and photos, internet, connections, Firefox, Steam under internet again. Seems odd, but okay. Office has only Office desktop editors. Would not be my first choice, but all right. Cheese, if you want to take webcam photos, roughly equivalent to photo booth on a Mac. Pulse audio volume control, rhythm box, and videos. What's other? Language, open tablet driver, Qt 5 settings. Startup applications, update, and sync. Okay, not bad. Out of curiosity, what version of Firefox is included? 110. I think 111 is out. 110 isn't too far out of date, so that's nice to see. Got to tell them about floor chicken. So, for those joining late, floor chickens are the power up in the game Vampire Survivors. And so my suggestion was that we make this a drinking game, and that every time I say floor chicken, people have to chug a drink. So let's see. I might add bonus JAU points for mentioning floor chicken. Are you installing SNES to play on Linux? No, I haven't. So I may or may not already have a collection of ROMs for some older systems, mostly 8 and 16-bit era systems, that I've collected over the past 15-ish years, and they've just moved from computer to computer with me. On my MacBook Pro, I've got an emulator that does ColecoVision, Atari, 2600, 5200, 7800, Commodore 64, MSX, which was more of a Japanese computer system. It was one of Microsoft's early failed attempts at standardization across the quote unquote home computer industry. Let's see, SNES, TurboGrafx, and PC Engine, depending on what part of the world you fall into. I think I've got some Neo Geo games, and seems like I'm missing a couple. Intellivision, Genesis, or Mega Drive, again, depending what part of the world you're in. Unfortunately, I don't have those since that laptop is in my computer bag. I don't have a way to bring those over to this machine right at the moment, but that might be interesting. I don't know as though I'd want to cover that on a video showing how or where to get those ROMs, because there's questionable legal ramifications, shall we say. But yeah. Oh, Brian, you've got a 480. Mine's a 460. But I mean, for what I'm using it for, I'm amazed at how quickly like LibreOffice opens on that machine. And it's only got 16 gigs of RAM, so I mean, it just it amazes me. It's definitely faster than my 2014 MacBook Pro for opening LibreOffice. So all right. Kali Linux 2023.1. Excuse me. Yes, Google is your friend if you want to find ROMs. I mentioned earlier, I've got a bunch that I've had for many years. And I've actually been looking at on and off over the past few months. I've looked at some of the hardware that would allow me to dump ROMs directly from the game cartridges I own. Some of the ROMs that I've got are directly corresponding to physical cartridges I own. Some of them aren't. But yeah. I got lucky and got a top spec T480 with a Thunderbolt dock in mint condition from a friend for 200. Corporate laptop that was never used and only used for a little training, so it's essentially new. Dang, man, that is a sweet deal. For my 460, I think I paid $86 plus shipping on eBay, and then I had to put in a battery, the external battery, the CMOS battery, and I've got to exchange the keyboard. There's one key missing. I've got the replacement keyboard, but I've also got a genuine Lenovo keyboard coming to me via another viewer. So that it was in his pile of scrap at work, and he offered to send it, and I was not going to turn it down. Upgraded it to 512 gig SSD boot, 2 terabyte NVMe storage, 32 gigs RAM, and Wi-Fi 6E. Yeah, that is a nice setup. I had been contemplating swapping out the Wi-Fi Bluetooth card for something newer, and the 460, just because it's one screw and popping off the antennas. So the battery, the external battery, I think I paid $39 for. It's one of those Chinese knockoffs that you can find on the Amazon. So, all right. So Kali 2023, and this looks pretty similar. Usual applications, information gathering. Um, So as sort of a rule on the channel, I will mostly cover tools from categories 1 through 4, down from information gathering down to database assessment. I'm not a database guru, so I don't do too much in that realm, but I do poke around with these other tools quite a bit. But when we get into exploitation, I kind of skip that one. Don't want to get on the wrong side of the algorithm. Sniffing and spoofing, again, on my own network, I've got no problems doing a demo. But post exploitation, I won't really be covering much. Forensics, we may look at a couple of the tools, but yeah. So pretty standard fare here, but it's nice to have it updated. So make sure that we're at the latest version. We'll come over here to Nobara. See if, okay. Well, terminal. Let's see, sudo DNF update. Let's see what that's going to do. Curious about forensics. So on the forensics side of things, we've got under forensic carving tools, magic rescue, scalpel, and scourge or scrounge NTFS. Have to think about this a little bit. If there's a way I can set up some fun lab experiments, because I could clone one of my Windows machines and then restore it onto an extra virtual hard drive attached to the Kali VM, and that can be kind of fun. Okay, forensics. Where'd we go? We've got forensic imaging tools, which I believe this is some sort of maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was thinking about some other tool. There's one of the forensic imaging tools that is like an enhanced version of DD, which is a standard Unix tool. This seems a little bit different. I may have to read up on this and potentially make some videos on it. So, but that is done updating. So I should do guest agent is already installed. So look at that. It's got my IP address. That's good. So Nobara is going to install a bunch of updates. And let's see if we can find another floor chicken. Getting all kinds of... Oh, there's the floor chicken. All kinds of bonuses here. And oh. So yeah, this is Vampire Survivors. This has been my game of choice for, I don't know, 3 to 5 months now. My buddy gifted the copy of this game to me on Steam, and it's just kind of sucked me in. Of course, I think at the time that he was gifting it to a few people, it was on sale for like $5. So I'm not sure what it's going for these days, but it's not an expensive game by any stretch. So all right, let's see what we're doing over here. Yes. All right. What else do we have in forensics since 11? PDF forensic tools, PDF parser, and PDF ID. Interesting. Sleuth kit suite, autopsy. Some of these I've used, some of these I've read about, but I haven't actually used before. When I was going through my master's program, one of my primary goals was to get into forensics, but that hasn't thus far panned out. So it's one of those things. It's become sort of a side project. I will sometimes pick up used computers just to see what I can find on them, because not everybody wipes their computers before they discard them. And yeah, you'd be probably not surprised by people leaving tax documents and things on the computers. So I usually poke around, have a little bit of fun, and then I will do a D-ban on those machines and just make sure they're wiped and there's no question about the data that might remain on them. So, and wow, we're already 45 minutes in. It feels like this is just flying by. Ever find anything interesting? Tax documents. selfie photos that I didn't want to see. Yeah, I don't know. People are people. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna skip that. All right, let's see. Oh, floor chicken. Somehow I managed to get a fairly good set of power ups this time around. And this is just complete annihilation. Sure. All right, we're 17 minutes into this run. We'll skip. So, yeah. Like I said, not the most thought provoking game. Um, your classic kill or be killed. It's sort of reminds me in some ways of like the classic Gauntlet game from the 80s. Um, but you know, with its own twist, I guess. But I will say, it plays for the most part really well on the M1 Mac. Um, and there are only a few stages where it really they cram so much onto the screen that it does chug a little bit. But for the most part, it does really well. Uh, yeah. Usually, I take the drive out and I put it in a sled or dock of some sort, and do it that way. If I were going to do this professionally, I'd have to have a write blocker, so that I know that my system is not writing anything to that drive while I'm doing like a forensic image capture. So, yeah, I have a couple of contacts that I may be reaching out to see if I can potentially participate in an engagement at some point, just to get a little more hands on. But I once found an emergency alert system server on the internet. Ooh, ooh, that that's not good. All right. Okay, let's see. dude, you chose to stay up there. You are no match. Oh, always floor chicken. So we are getting to that point in the game where every bonus is going to be a floor chicken and power me up. Gives +3 revivals. Not going to use them in less than 10 minutes. But hey. So, one interesting thing about this game is that the stages seem to be pseudo randomly generated, because you can go left or right from your starting position, and it just keeps going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. But still rather entertaining. Oh, come on. There we go. So it does start to feel a little sluggish when they start just really cramming everything on the screen, and just they do this as you get closer to the end of the time. But yeah, it's, like I said, it's my guilty pleasure game right now. And see if I can make it to 30 minutes on this. Go away, die. Hey, you died. Thank you. I would be a little, probably more rowdy on what I say to the characters if I were not live streaming. But, you know, nothing people haven't heard before, I'm sure. Especially if you ever listen to rap or hip hop, which I don't do often, but I've heard enough of it to know that they tell these mother truckers to die, or something that rhymes with trucker, I think. Well, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with trucks. I don't know. It must be it rhymes with trucker. Die, Medusa. There you go. I don't know where they got the idea for these characters. It's the body of a mermaid and the head of Medusa. It just seems wrong on many levels. Oh. Yeah, it's feeling a little sluggish. But we are almost dead. Or we will be in a moment. Because death comes for you at the end. There's death. And we're dead. No more floor chickens for us. Let's see. Can channel members get an uncensored stream? Now that's a thought, because YouTube doesn't take down. Do they penalize people for swearing if you're doing a members only stream? The encoder's having trouble. It was like a blur at the end. Well, it was pretty much a blur on my screen playing it in person too. So, but I'll have to watch back part of this just to see how much it was chugging. Definitely pushing it to its limits, I guess. So, all right. So we've made it through one round of Vampire Survivors. So yeah. I don't know what to say about Kali. I mean, we've been looking at other security related distributions lately, and in all honesty, anymore they are all pretty much including basically the same tools. A lot of these are command line tools, and it's 11 o'clock at night, or nearly 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday. I just don't have the mental capacity left tonight to dig into command line tools. It's my brain's shutting down, and it's just one of those things that I was just hoping that this would be a nice fun stream for about an hour, a little over an hour, somewhere in that range, and wind out the night, get my credit for doing my daily content, which I guess I can give everybody here a little bit of a preview. So my notice from the YouTubes: your hard work paid off. Publishing more helped your channel get 26% more views than usual. And I hit the 850,000 view mark today. So that's good, I suppose. Pushing toward that million views marker. But yeah, hopefully I'll get to 5,000 subscribers yet sometime this year. And so I know Social Blade is not the most accurate of sources, but for fun, I view this kind of like horoscopes for fun. You can get a good laugh out of them sometimes. So this is saying in early July I will hit 5,000 subscribers. And then it'll be early, or towards the end of January of next year, I'll hit 7,500 subscribers. And then if this is at all accurate, 10,000 subscribers in June of next year. So this is interesting. The one thing that they have somewhere their graph data is really messed up, because they have my views completely crashing, and I'm already above the 758,000 if I hit 850 today. So hopefully their next update will be a little better. But after a few, well, I don't know, month and a half at a D plus grade for my channel, I'm back to a B minus again, because I did add back some of the content that I had taken private on the channel, and I just, because it was older content, I turned the comments off, and on some of it I had pushed and done either a link in the description, or put a card in to push people to newer content. So, you know, I'm trying to be somewhat systematic about some of that. While, you know, spending more of my time on creating new content than, you know, babysitting and updating old content, I guess. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I just used the free version of Social Blade as sort of a ballpark of where things are at. The interesting thing is they have 850,000 views here, but you know the graph shows it crashing and burning. I don't know, but February was a pretty decent month overall, I guess, subscriber wise. We'll see where we end at the end of March. I am, go back here. I am, let's see. Let me see. I've gained 60 subscribers for the month of March so far. So that's not bad. Wish the revenue were a little higher, but I keep telling myself that will come in time. And, you know, this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So, can you look up mine? Okay, so let's jump back over here. And okay, 20 uploads, 796 subscribers, 25,267 views, C plus. So what do we have? Subscriber milestones. We've got 20 days to hit 1,000 subscribers. And at your current rate, apparently you're going to hit 10,000 subscribers before I do. Come November of this year. So have a good night, Hugo. So that should be interesting. What do they got? Yeah, video views. It's a nice slope on that curve. But I mean, I kind of take Social Blade with a grain of salt. I don't know how accurate their predictions are. or how they're calculating the predictions. Um, I'm curious to see how much my predictions are going to change at the end of the month after I've done 31 days of content. But oh, I know what I was going to look at while we're over here. Country rank and channel type rank. Interesting. Okay, well, hey, look at that. I've passed the 1 hour mark. I suppose I've earned my JAU now. So, um, but yeah, this, the game is called Vampire Survivors. And I don't know what it goes for on the store these days. Of course, the store has a little issue apparently. Doesn't seem to want to load up. There we go. There we go. Oh, there you go. It's a $4 game. It's a $4 game. So, you earned more JAU for the floor chickens. So what I'm hearing is that if we make the Joe laugh, then the Joe awards more Joe approved units. So that's my understanding, right? I have been slowly working through sections of those books, and they're pretty interesting. It is a little intense as far as trying to wrap your head around all that information at some points, but and it's not the most exciting read either. But let's see, I suppose I can bring my bald head on the screen. Uh, but yeah, I've definitely been working through those a bit, and oh, look at that, a Steam update. Restart Steam. So yeah, $4 game. Updating Steam. Is it going to relaunch? There it goes, maybe. So yeah, there are some pretty cheap games on Steam. The other game I really like is Infernax, which is kind of a um, Metroidvania style game, I guess you'd call it. And I haven't played this for a number of months now. It does not run on Apple Silicon Max. It says it's only for Windows, but it does run on Linux with Proton, which is the customized version of Wine, optimized for games, running Windows games on Linux. It's one of the components that makes the Steam Deck possible. There we go. The Steam Deck. And yeah, there's part of me that wants one of these, but the bigger part of me is like, how much are you actually going to play on that screen? So, I don't know. It's one of those things. Maybe when the second generation comes out, I will grab one of those. But what they've done with it is pretty impressive, all things considered. What is your typical schedule? Generally, I'll wake up. I'll get. I've been trying to drink more water lately, so I'll get a glass of water, take my vitamin and my allergy pill, um, check email, uh, get in the shower, get dressed. Um, on a weekday, it's heading to the library and doing whatever random seems like random computer work comes up there, whether it's updating servers or keeping up with Patch Tuesday patches, keeping my Docker containers updated. We're transitioning printer stuff right now, so that's taking up some time. What time do you get up? Usually between 5:30 and 7 sometime. If I am not working on a given day, then I will usually get up closer to 7. I sometimes sleep in later than that if it's really cold out, which it's been for a few mornings here in Michigan. But, go to work, come home. Usually after I get home from work, it's get food and watch a little TV for about an hour. And then I'm back in the office doing something or another, whether it's testing out a new Linux distribution or recording a video or editing a video or, trying to make my thumbnails a little less embarrassing than they have been in previous years. I'm in a 30-day trial of Canva Pro right now. I'm trying to justify the cost in my head to pay for it for a year. Ultimately, I think it's going to be worth it, but just having the extra backgrounds and clip art type images available to me is useful. Are there any tech emergencies at the library? Funny you should ask that. So, the closest thing to a tech emergency, and of course, my approach to being in IT is that I view it as an on-call job. So although I've written up detailed instructions and with with screenshots, mind you, and big arrows that point at things. The biggest thing that I get called for on my day off is, oh, we can't print. And usually some update has taken the print server offline. And so I have to remote in and restart that server. That's the biggest thing. The Wi-Fi is rock solid. The internet and phone system is pretty solid. For the most part, it's just maintaining and trying to put things in place that try to think about what future problems could happen and how those might be handled. Part of that is building out a disaster recovery plan. For instance, if something were to happen to our server, I would likely bring in a machine from home and put that in place long enough to get us back up and running while new equipment is ordered, depending on how long it would take to get the new equipment. Now that supply chain is not as much an issue, they may opt to not have me do that and just, have the library not have printing for a day or two until I can bring that server back up. So, the only cloud stuff we've got going on at the library, I guess it's two things. Our library management system, which is for people not in the library world, the library management system, or ILS, is, LMS or ILS. ILS is Integrated Library Server or System. Basically, it's an electronic version of the card catalog with management capabilities on the back end for the library staff. So there's a public and a private facing component, basically. And so that is hosted by a third party. The company that designed and wrote the software handles that, and their uptime has been phenomenal. I think we've had 2 outages in 18 months, approximately 18 months. And one of them was not their fault. One of them was an internet link somewhere between Michigan and the data centers was out. So basically any library in Michigan that used that system was out. The other cloud, I guess you could call it cloud, would be our website. And that is hosted by a third party. And that is, it was one of those things left over from before I started working at the library. And I'm slowly trying to undo some of it, just because of the way our email, our web hosting, and domain names are all tied together in a Charlie Foxtrot situation. Yeah, I guess you could say the phones as well. So that'd be the third prong of it. Um, there's a local phone company. Our internet and phone system are through the same company. Again, this was a decision made before I got there. I have been looking at alternative phone systems because the back end for our phone system currently looks like something from like 2003, and it doesn't look like it's been updated a whole hell of a lot since then. Their uptime is relatively good, but there are just things in the back end of the system that are more difficult than they need to be, and there are limitations imposed on us that are very, 2003 to 2009 ish type limitations. The um, when you have a message play before you get to a live person, it has to be in a, what is it? It's a wave format, but they've got specific bit rates that you have to hit in order to have the system even accept it. It doesn't do any conversion in the system. And, it would be wonderful to just be able to upload an MP3 and be done with it and let the system re encode it however it wants on the back end. But, yeah, excuse me. We are looking at a different system, but I don't know. If it were me, I would, based on what Tony and Willie have covered, I would probably just put in a grand stream system and, roll our own on the phone stuff. But I am not. Although I've run SIP on my, and done VoIP phones for myself for years, I'm not an expert on that, and the part that I'd be really shaky on is the porting of numbers and all that kind of thing. That I'm happier just handing that off to somebody else and letting them deal with it. What is the reporting structure in a library? Is there a library director? Yes, there is a library director. We're a staff of 5. It's a small library. And so there's a director and assistant director. And so basically, we all report to the director. Um, as with most IT jobs, it's well, most jobs period, I guess. It's they always have that other duties as assigned clause, so that if you need to unplug a toilet, then that might be your duty for the day, um, literally and figuratively. So okay, I will be right back. Give me just a moment. All right, sorry about that. I had to get a drink. Um, my throat was getting dry from talking so much. So, um, yeah. I mean, I've been starting to look for something else for another job that, pays me what my experience and education is worth. But at the same time, with the crazy layoffs and different things going on in the tech industry, um, I'm trying to be content where I'm at. But if I could get into the right job at the right salary level, it would make things a whole lot easier. And I might almost be inclined at that point to pay for a few advertisements for the channel and try to boost. I've had a lot of people tell me that for the amount of content I've got out there, that I should have a lot more subscribers than what I do. And it's one of those things. It will come at some point. It will come. During the pandemic, I was really gung ho about watching the numbers, and I find myself doing that less now. I try to get like subscriber numbers, for instance, on the first of the month and the 15th of the month. And just kind of keep track that way. But as far as like I think I've mentioned before, at one point I was on a weekly basis I was recording my numbers, and it just got to be enough. With over 300 videos out there, grabbing the number of views on each of those just wasn't worth the time I was putting into it. So it's just one of those things. Ideally, I suppose now that I've got 3.5, a little over 3.5 years into the library world, ideally, I guess I'd like to see. I'd like to be able to move to a larger library, and work on the tech team in a larger library. I like the slightly more laid back pace of the library. But at the end of the day, I feel like I can make a difference there. And I've worked for Fortune 500 companies before, and other large organizations, and it's like you're just a number. You're just going in for a paycheck, and ultimately you're expendable. They don't really care if you stay or if you go. And at the library I feel like I'm making a difference. I've helped people with seemingly random requests. I had a lady in this past week who needed to do a memorial slideshow for her mother who had passed, and so we scanned some pictures. She had pictures that she was sent from other family members, and I just I dumped them into iMovie and created a memorial slideshow for her. And it's things like that. They don't use my technical skills, but I'm able to relate with people on a deeper level in some cases, and I guess that's worth it. Um, it feels more worth it to me than, just being able to say, oh, I've got all this whiz bang technology that I can um, use and whatnot, and um, there's something to say about that personal touch and being able to make a connection with people that come into the library. So, library sounds lower stress. I am miserable in my job. But think of all the fun you have with all the YouTube people that you know. Um, Plus, hey, at the end of your workday, you get to go home or across the hall or wherever the two of you work in the house. You've got Ashley at home for you. So I guess that's a bonus you gotta put into perspective, dude. My dude. Um, you know, I'm a nearly 50-year-old single guy, and uh, it'll probably stay that way. uh, yeah, little gun shy after the debacle that was my failed engagement. Uh, cool story about the memorial. Sounds like a lot more rewarding than what I'm doing. So, yeah. Well, I mean, I had higher hopes, and I think we've talked about this before, Joe. I went back to school at 30, knocked out 2 degrees back to back. I had this head in the clouds idea that I was going to break into computer forensics and do that for a living and make fat money and have the car and the house and the dog and the picket fence and blah blah blah. But it's just not panned out between the economy in 2008 when I finished my undergraduate degree, and different career paths that have taken me on a roller coaster a bit. Um, it's not panned out the way I'd wanted, but life's too short to beat yourself up about it. I'm trying to be content where I'm at, and I've got enough in my 401k and my life insurance that if I should drop dead tomorrow, they'll get me planted in the ground, and there may be a little bit of money left over for my nieces afterwards. But if there's not, there's not. So, um, you're very welcome, Ashley. Uh, yeah, I just, Joe's lucky to have you. I'll put it that way. Joe's lucky to have you. Thank you for being the voice of reason in the Joe world. uh, Lady would be lucky to have you. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I know the bald look is in, but uh, it's the rest of me. I think they would be less impressed with. I've been too single for too long, and I'm too set in my ways, and I'm not sure I'd be the best of companions at this point in my life. Um, I mean, I don't even have a pet, so, and I think my house plants are dying, so, um, you know, I'm not sure that uh, I'm relationship material at this point. You know, I just trying to be content with where I'm at in life, and beyond that, I just uh, I don't know, I don't know, but you know, there are women out there I've been told that are into the bigger dudes that uh, you know, see through the gruff exterior and know that we're secretly big teddy bears, and you know, something to snuggle up to at night, and all that uh whatever. But um all I said was she was the voice of reason, and that's the general consensus. I think the woman in the relationship is normally the voice of reason. Uh, so, but that's all I'll say. I don't want to cause any strife that's unneeded, you know. But oh, I don't know. I suppose I should wrap this up. It's been an hour and 38 minutes now. Less people have more questions, and I'll try to humor some more answers. I will try to humor some more answers. Um, but yeah, things are going all right. Um, you know, of course, I would love to have more money. You know, once upon a time, I was working two jobs, and I was driving around a Camaro, but all I was doing is eating, sleeping, and working two jobs. And I didn't even really have enough time to enjoy the Camaro. And I don't know. You know, I'm glad I did that. That was the midlife crisis. Um, I don't know if I'd do it again if I had the money available to me, but I don't regret it as much as it didn't put me in a great financial position. I don't regret doing it because I'd always wanted a Camaro, and at least for a couple of years I had one. So she is the voice of reason. You should have capitalized is. Generally, what went wrong with the fiance? Well, okay, so oh, drudging up ancient history. Having us both in grad school at the same time was an issue. It was difficult. Um, it was a long distance relationship thing while she was away at school in grad school. Um, and something that I hadn't thought about much at the time of the breakup, but I don't know, a few months prior to her breaking off the relationship, her parents had given her an ultimatum where if she broke things off with me, then they would help pay for her help pay for grad school and help her take out more loans. So you know, I just um, I will say that at the risk of being a little bit crass, I will say that I went back to school at 30 and I wanted to get the full, quote unquote, full college experience. And if that meant graduating in a relationship with a co-ed, then sure, that's how I'll spin it today. Um, and it was fun while it lasted. It was a wild ride. It was fun while it lasted. It was exhausting. But there was about 14 years age difference between us. So that may have been a factor as well. And I don't know. It could have been a factor that she was a Beatles fan and I'm a Led Zeppelin fan, and you know, Led Zeppelin took over for the Beatles. What the Beatles were to the '60s, Zeppelin was to the '70s, and we kind of clashed on that a little bit. So I I will just chalk it up as experience, and it was one of those situations where a mutual friend set us up, and I've not let him live it down since. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really looking for a significant other at this point. I mean, I've had a few interesting dates since the ex fiance broke things off. One lady I went out with, she owned a hearse, and we went to a zombie walk. And when I say we went to a zombie walk, I mean she did makeup on my bald head like, you know, it was some sort of mixture of latex and what did she use? Oatmeal to make it look like brain matter, you know, so you're kind of walking deadish, and that was a very unique date, to say the least. But um, I don't know. You know, it's one of those things that um, I've since I was in high school, even, you know, I've always been a more of the mindset that I'd rather spend time with computers than people. Um, and I could tolerate people more now than I could then. But the great thing about computers is that you hit the power button and they leave you alone. um, you know, I just and no, Joe, there was not a mattress in the back of the hearse. Get your mind out of the gutter, because I know you were going there. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if the right person comes along. Uh, if it's going to happen, it'll happen. And if not, I've been by myself for so many years now that um, I'm not sure I'm trainable in a relationship. And uh, I get the distinct impression from my own experience and from talking to people that have been in longer term relationships or marriages or civil unions or whatever that there's one person always trying to train the other person into submission a little bit. Sometimes it goes both ways, but um, yeah, I just uh, if it's meant to be, it'll be, and if not, then uh, I came, I saw, and I conquered the life I was given. Right. Um, and I'm getting a little silly now that it's almost midnight, right? So, um, yeah, there was no mattress in the hearse. I figured I'd better head off that question before you asked it. Your deadpan humor is killing me now. Did you ride in the back of the hearse? No, did not. So I don't know. It's all things considered, life is pretty good right now. I can laugh at it, and as I often say at work, if I didn't laugh, I'd probably want to beat my head up against the wall. So, drywall work isn't cheap, so I'll just laugh instead, right? um, so I don't know. I don't know. Just keep taking things one day at a time is the way I like to look at it, and it's been a bit of a wild ride. It's had its ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster, um, but it is what it is. Well, thank you, Joe, for the super chat. I aim to please. I try to make people laugh a little bit. There are too many videos and live streams out there that are just dry and you know they could use with a little bit of laughter. It's just that the jokes I normally hear are not appropriate for YouTube and would probably get me banned or copyright striked or something. Um, um, you know, I've been hearing more little Johnny jokes lately, and then there's the classic jokes about the nuns and the blind man, and a couple variations of that joke. But I don't know, just um, yeah, most of the jokes I've got off the top of my head are pretty inappropriate, I would say. Um, but let's see. We told the one the last time about the hair up your donkey. Um, okay. So I guess my parting joke for the night. Um, and this is a little Johnny joke, and I'll try to clean it up a little bit, and I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. So little Johnny is about 6 or 7 years old, and little Johnny has an electric train set. And I know this isn't the cool thing to have these days, but little Johnny likes his trains. And so little Johnny, he's sitting there and he starts his train up and he makes it go around in a circle 3 times. And he announces, all you sons of bees that want to get on, and all you sons of bees that want to get off, get off. Then he starts the train up, goes around in a circle 3 times, and says the same thing. And, well, that time his mother overhears him. And she sends little Johnny to stand in the corner until he can learn to talk nice about people. So an hour or two later, he's learned his lesson, shall we say. Or at least that's what he wants his mother to believe. So he sits back down at the train set and he starts it up and he makes it go around in a circle 3 times and he says, all you nice people that want to get on, and all you nice people that want to get off, get off. And if you want to know why the train's so damn late, ask the bee in the kitchen. So that's my bad joke for the night, and I tried to clean it up a little bit. I'm sure we can all fill in the blanks. Your ability to not take yourself seriously is what makes you awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Please do a private live stream for channel members. Okay, well, I think you're the only channel member at the moment, Joe, so we'll set something up here in the next few days. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow night and tell jokes and whatever comes up, I guess. So, and apparently you like the joke. So, all right. On that note, well, I guess I might as well go for another 7 minutes and get the full 2 JAU. We're almost there. All right, so what else? Let's go back here. Put myself in the corner. So yeah, and just like that, I got all serious again. I'm dying. You're the only channel member. We should just have a call. Thanks for entertaining Joe. I'll be live on Tony's channel Thursday if you're around. I'm planning to be there. I've already got the notification turned on. We will be talking about thumbnails. Bonus. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two. As you can tell from my thumbnails, I have like zero eye for design. But I mean, they are really, really, really basic. I just, color theory, layout. It just, I need to, I need to seriously watch some YouTube videos. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Ashley start a YouTube channel. But yeah, they could use some work. Yeah. And the further you go back, the more basic they look, and unless I'm using a template, it's just bad. And even worse if I stick my face on it, as far as I'm concerned. But hey, um, if anybody's allowed to take a jab at my looks, then I am. So um, that's uh, yeah. I'm Design is not my forte, and thus why for months I use the same basic design and just put titles on them. I've been trying to get a little better, but I don't know. They claim that thumbnails are going to be less important because of the autoplay function in the YouTube channel. And um, I don't know. I don't know whether to take that with a grain of salt or whether there's actually something to it. So, um, but and I don't know whether to keep a consistent look on my thumbnails or to keep changing it up, or I'm just design is not my thing. I just whether it's interior design or um, thumbnail design, it's not my thing. It's really not. I'm design challenged. Um, so I guess that's my sad admission for the night. I'm design challenged. So I think we need to hang out with you in person. Well, if the two of you get to Michigan, let me know when you're coming through, and we'll definitely have to do something. I know of a couple of decent micro brew pubs around the area where I'm at. And if you're going to be in the state for a while longer, we've got a pretty cool arcade, like video game arcade, about an hour and a half from where I'm at. That's well worth the time if you're into classic arcade games and pinball machines and things of that nature. I think they've even got skee ball at one of their locations. Keep bursting out laughing about the hearse lady. Yeah. I think it wins the booby prize as most unique date that I've heard of, anyways. I don't think it gets more unique than that. Are there more stories of horror dates? No. I mean, I was briefly involved with an ex-model that I had worked with, and that flamed out when she kind of did the come to my church, or that's that type of ultimatum, and I'm too stubborn and bullheaded to deal with ultimatums well. So yeah, that was the end of that one. Yeah. So my the ups and downs of my dating life. The co-ed and the model and random crazy in between. Shall we say? Random crazy in between. So, howdy, Jacob. You're coming in just as we're wrapping up. I've hit 2 full Joe approved units. And Joe here in the chat has been yucking it up with my bad jokes, and I've tried to clean them up a little bit since we've got a lady in the audience, and I wouldn't want to offend. But my jokes are not generally too they're generally a little too dirty for mixed company, shall we say. I would risk blushing myself if I were to tell some of these jokes in a room full of women, and I'd probably get tarred and feathered if I did anyways. Let's see. Co-ed model and a witch walk into a bar, and they say, "Ow." Impossible to offend me. You know my husband. Well, I figure it's just one of those situations where, you just tell him that you're going to outlive him. And which would be the opposite situation of my parents. My dad, when I was in high school, I think I was a freshman in high school, at the dinner table one night, he decided to tell my mother that he was going to outlive her, and he did. So, not exactly a self-fulfilling prophecy, but entertaining in some ways nonetheless. All right. Tarred and feathered. Another one of your dates? No. That might be a little too kinky for me, Joe. I work in heavy construction. The things that I hear daily would get me banned from the internet. I can only imagine. She will for sure outlive me. We just did her annual physical. She is in better health. Far better health. Well, hey, what is it? Is it Billy Joel? Well, you're probably too young to remember this one, anyways. Maybe you know it though. Only the good die young. So, I've watched many a high school classmate precede me in death, and so I guess I know who the good ones were. They are no longer with us, and yeah. But it's all good. Yay, we can live forever. Yeah, well, just call me Nosferatu, and we'll call it a day, right? Billy Joel is one of my favorite artists. All right. Well, I had a friend, and Billy Joel was his favorite artist too. We grew up together, and he went down. I mean, we were both into like Twisted Sister and Van Halen in the early 80s. And then he went down the Billy Joel path, and I went down the Quiet Riot path. And Motley Crue and Metallica, Iron Maiden, Megadeth. Yeah. That's the other thing that doesn't make me good relationship material is there aren't enough female metalheads around. So at least not local to where I'm at. uh, Ashley bought me tickets to see him at Madison Square Garden in New York City a few weeks ago. Or, oh, a few years ago. So the last concert I saw, and it just kind of dropped into my lap. I've got a friend who can't drive because of a spinal issue, or I don't know if it's a disease. I guess it's a degenerative condition, I guess you'd call it. And he ended up with an extra ticket to see Black Sabbath on their The End tour. So that was great. And he is actually trying to score some Metallica tickets for, I think, November of this year. So getting to see Metallica live is one of the things that I've dreamt about for more years than I care to admit. Um, so yeah, um, sounds like you got the better deal on tunes. Yeah. Last show I saw was Def Leppard and Journey years ago. Uh, Def Leppard I got into in high school. I think Hysteria came out my freshman year of high school. And that's what got me into Def Leppard. And then I ended up liking their back catalog before Hysteria more than the stuff that came after. So very cool on Black Sabbath and hopefully Metallica. Yes, rock on, horns up, all that fun stuff. I guess I can do that. So, yeah, it's things are all good, you know. Uh, I had the co-ed before that fanned out or flamed out or whatever you want to call it. I had a Camaro for a few years. Not the most practical of cars in Michigan, shall I say. So, you know, when my winter car started nickeling and diming me to death, I traded in both the winter car and the Camaro and ended up with a SUV, which, if I can go one step larger on the next SUV, I think I'd be happy with SUVs going forward. But it is what it is. It's just one of those things that I'm good for about 2 hours of straight driving, and then I've got to get out and stretch because I'm 6'1.5", and there's just not enough leg room in the driver's side of that car. So after about 2 hours, I got to get out and stretch. Sometimes I'll stop at a rest area and I'll get out my laptop for 30 minutes and sit at a picnic table and fire up the hotspot on my phone and check email or whatever and just enjoy the outside. What you lost in ladies, you gained in servers. Yeah. Well, I mean, when I close the room up, I guess you could say the servers keep me warm at night. Um, uh, Getting Acadia, they are great. I'll have to look into those for sure. I've been kind of torn. You know, years ago, I had an S10 pickup that I really liked, an extended cab S10. And I've always thought about going to like a Chevy Colorado, I think is their new mid-sized truck. So, I don't know. I in some ways I'd almost like a truck again, but the SUV has its advantages as well. I'm only 5'9". I envy your height. Yeah. Uh, I would take 5'9" in a heartbeat if I could be closer to your weight range. I'll just say that. Um, har har har. Now we're just getting. Oh boy. Colorados are nice. I was usually a Blazer guy, but I love my SRX. Cool. Yeah, I've been kind of eyeing the Colorados ever since they brought them out. I definitely miss that S10. But some Yahoo, I was on an exit off the expressway here in Michigan, and it was one of those exits that curves and then it comes to a stop. And there were two cars in front of me. There was a Jeep behind me, and this Yahoo comes off the expressway and had dropped his phone on the passenger side of his truck and slams into the Jeep, and it was just kind of a domino effect. But it hit my S10 with such force that it pushed the bed into the cab, sprung the frame, blew out the back window. Thankfully, I had left enough room between me and the car in front of me that I only tapped their bumper. But I ended up with a cut on the inside of my right ear from the back window shattering. And if it were up to me, I would just have gone home. But the paramedic people seemed pretty adamant on me going to the hospital just for a check, getting checked over. Yeah. So, anyways, I said almost 50. I'm only 49. I don't turn 50 until January of next year. So I'm just barely over 49, I guess. I don't want to claim 50 until I'm actually there. My buddy just crossed 350,000 on his '04 5-cylinder Colorado. Body is rusty, but it's hardly even needed maintenance beyond oil and filters. Dang. All right, that's something I'll definitely be on the lookout for. So even if I got a used Colorado with 100,000 miles on, I can still get another couple 100,000 out of it. That's very encouraging. Thank you for that information, Jacob. That's much appreciated. Well, you don't look 49 either. Well, thank you. It's I haven't tried this in a while because I haven't wanted to shave off the beard, but you'd be surprised if I'm clean shaven and put on a ball cap, I'll still get carded for alcohol. Um, I can almost guarantee if I went into a place that I wasn't a regular at, that I'd still get carded for alcohol. Um, at least I did pre-pandemic, but I don't know. All right. On that note, as fun as this has been, um, in 12 hours and 15 minutes, I'm going to be live again. So I should probably get to sleep and come up with something to talk about in the next live stream. But thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. I hope this was entertaining a little bit. I don't think I've laughed this much in a while. So thank you all for bringing that out of me. But yeah, everybody have a good night. You too, Ashley, and I'll try to be awake tomorrow. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out. If you haven't already, give me a thumbs up on this video. It helped the channel. Um, you know, I'm not opposed to begging. Not sure many have gotten the double JAU. Well, and I think I was supposed to get extra for floor chicken. So, anyways, on that note, thank you all for coming out tonight, and we'll be live at 12:30 p.m. Hope to see you there. Have a good night.